So I watched the first season of Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix, and I thought I'd give my thoughts on it. Very good show. Probably give it a 9 out of 10.
What is going on with you? What are you talking about? You sound insane.
But on to what I want to talk about with the show, and that's the direction of the show feels very similar to another show that's happening right now called Invincible. It's an animated show, I think on Amazon Prime, and almost the same setup, minus the evil, Superman that's in Invincible. I forget what they call him in that one, but in Jupiter's Legacy, his name is the Utopian. But he's not quite evil yet, but I feel like there's a heel turn coming with this character. He seems like he's trying to hold on to his beliefs a little bit too hard, and he's going to end up being a bad guy in the end. That's what it feels like.
You're the Diet Coke of evil. Just 1 calorie, not evil enough.
But yeah, that was like the first thing I noticed when the show started was that this felt very similar to Invincible, but in live action. It's definitely got a major difference there. But also, I'm noticing the show has a lot of actors in it that are like revitalizing their careers for this show. Josh Duhelm.
If one of y'all says some silly ass name, this whole class is gonna feel my wrath.
I forget how to say his name. But he plays the Utopian. And he's knocking it out of the park. I can't remember the last movie I saw him in, but it's been a while. But, what a great role for him to just totally have a bounce back year with this role and stuff like that. And the whole cast in the show is pretty solid. Very believable. The son of the Utopian, he kind of seems like a creative character that you would make in like some kind of sports game or in some kind of wrestling video game. And of course he's got daddy issues because his dad's Superman.
Daddy wasn't there.
But you don't really get that much deeper in on his character this season. But essentially, the show was about the new generation of superheroes taking the reins from the old guard. And the Utopian is a part of that old guard, and he still believes in truth, justice, and the America way type stuff. But the new superheroes aren't seeing it that way. A lot of the new heroes are dying instantly from the villains. And the Utopian, he has this no-kill rule that he won't break. But in the process of doing that, he's letting countless good people die.
I would never take the life of another, for I am
Batman, look out!
the Dark Knight.
Which has always been the dilemma with the Batman question, right? What's the point of Batman's no-kill rule if Joker just goes and kills 1,000 people? Essentially, this show is Kingdom Come, the show. So, if you want to watch Kingdom Come in live action, this is it.
Preaching my heart out for 45 minutes to an hour on that one word come.
But I also love the secondary plot line that's going through the show in this first season, and that's the origin of the superhero team, the original one, that the Utopian started, right? I love that story. It takes place during the Depression era, and that was really engaging to watch. Seeing that their powers may be coming from an alien source was very interesting.
Extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial, you mean?
The extraterrestrial.
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 There you go.
So, why did the other beings give these people powers? That might be something to explore in the future. But what they definitely will be exploring in the future is another superhero that turned against the other superheroes, Skyfox. And he's a cool character, but you knew instantly that he was like a bad guy because he's like super Aryan and stuff like that.
The only flavor is vanilla!
Very Ubermensch. So I imagine like the next season will be about, Skyfox, how they're gonna, go after this guy. And another character I like a lot is Brainwave. He seems like he's gonna be making a heel turn anytime now.
I don't know! I'm one of the biggest legends stars ever in this... God!
And it's interesting because I don't think the climax or the ending of the season was all that. I barely remember what happened in the last 15 minutes of the last episode. It was very uneventful, the last bit of the last episode of the season. So maybe that's why people are being a little bit harsh on it right now. It doesn't really have a final bang, but it starts really strong, and it has a great story throughout the season. Intercutting with modern day and then back to the Great Depression. seeing the Utopian's origin and stuff like that. It's a nice setup season, and I want to see more of it. I want to see where they go with it.
I'm going to give it 4 bags of popcorn and maybe just a cup of water.
In all the modern scenes, you get like all the, countries divided. Like 78% of people think that the superheroes are outdated or something like that. Their morals are outdated. But, it really feels like somebody's copying somebody else's homework, because when you put this show up right against Invincible, it feels very similar. And when you put them both up against Kingdom Come, it's like, I wonder who's looking at whose homework here. It all looks very familiar.
Look, I've been a lawyer a long fucking time, and I know a motherfucking conspiracy when I see one.
And, I hope it goes somewhere. I hope they really answer some of these questions they're posing this season. Because it's easy enough to pose the questions and frame it a certain way, but you gotta deliver. You gotta give us like a solution to the problem you're proposing, right? But from everything I could see, it looks like a great show. The special effects are much better than CW. I saw somebody say that the effects were like equivalent to CW. I'm like,
oh, no. 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 No, 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 no.
This is definitely a step above. Cinematography, lighting's much better. Acting's good for the most part. It just had a little bit of a weak ending at the end of the season. But other than that, I'm looking forward to the next season. And drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of Jupiter's Legacy. Does Dark Star remind you of Dark Side? Because it looks like, somebody took Dark Side and smashed him in with Mongol, and then you get Dark Star that's in Jupiter's Legacy. It looks like that's exactly what that is.
Nerd alert!
And I believe this show is from the mind of Mark Miller, who is a famous comic book writer. Wrote Kick-Ass and a bunch of other shit. And he's actually had a lot of successful movies and TV shows. And Invincible is from the mind of Robert Kirkman, who's also had a lot of success, translating comic book properties to TV shows and movies.
You fucking nerd with your nerd hair.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say for now. Just a few thoughts on it. Watched the whole season in practically a day. I watched it all night and then finished it in the morning. And yeah, liked it a lot. Comment below, let me know what you think of the first season, the first volume of Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix. And I'll probably tune in for the next season for sure. It's just weird, man. First you get Superman Lois, which is about, Superman and his son, and dealing with a new age. And then you get Invincible, which is about, a Superman type figure with his son, dealing with a new age of superheroes. Except that one's a little different, the dad's a little meaner. And then you get Jupiter's Legacy, which is about, a Superman figure and his son, coming into a new age of heroes. It's just like, it's all very familiar. And I think it's definitely clear that everybody talks to each other before making these shows. Everybody knows who's making what, and they prepare themselves accordingly. But anyway, that's it for now. Comment below, let me know what you think of the show, and I'll see you all next one. Bye-bye.
You fucking nerd.